Hello guys, welcome to the session. Continuing with TCS core beta questions. In this lecture, we'll be seeing about grooving monkeys problem. Okay, so take a look at the question. As I always say, pause the video for a minute, read the question, try to understand as much as possible. Okay, before you start learning about the solution which I tell you, it is important that you should be able to think of it on your own. Okay, so pause it, take a minute to read the question, then you can continue with the explanation part. Okay, so in the question, let us read it line by line. They are telling you N monkeys are invited to a party where they start dancing. Yes, so there are some number of monkeys, say 5 monkeys or 6 monkeys. They go to a party and they start dancing. Okay, they dance in a circular formation, very similar to a Gujarati Garba or a drum circle. Like there is a circular formation, and just imagine it as a circle. That will do. Okay, they dance in a circular format. Okay, now the dance requires the monkeys to constantly change their positions after 1 second. So we know that there are some 5 or 6 or 10 monkeys, some number of monkeys are present. They are dancing in circular formation, and they constantly change positions every 1 second. After each second, they will change the positions. Okay, so what we do is we are observing the position. The change of position is not random. Yes, they change positions every 1 second, and this change of position is not random, and you in the audience observe a pattern. We see that the change of positions have a pattern. Yes, the monkeys are very disciplined and follow a specific pattern while dancing. So what do we understand? There are some number of monkeys. Those monkeys are standing in a circle, and every 1 second the monkeys change their position. Okay, how they change their position, that follows a particular pattern. So we are observing the pattern, right? Now consider n is equal to 6. So n is nothing but number of monkeys. There are 6 monkeys and an array of monkeys which is 3, 6, 5, 4, 1, 2. Okay, there are 6 monkeys and they are given 6 data. What is this data? Look at the next line. This array, one indexed array. Generally, array index starts from 0. One indexed array means for the monkeys, we have an array, index starts from 1. Can you understand this? One index means 0th index shall not be considered. We'll start considering it from first index only. Okay. This indicates the dancing pattern. The value at monkeys of I indicates new position of the monkey who's standing at ith position. Read this line carefully. Try to understand as much as possible. Let me explain what they are telling you. Okay. So we are given a one indexed array. We are given a one indexed array, which means index will start from 1. What do these values indicate? Let me write down the values. 3, 6, 5, 4, 1, 2. Okay. The value at monkeys of I. For example, the value at monkeys of 2 indicates new position of the monkey who's standing at that position. If a monkey A is standing here, if a monkey A is standing here, that monkey will go to the 6th position. That is what they say. Okay. Some set of monkeys are standing. Whichever monkey is standing at 2nd position, that shall move to the 6th position. This is the logic. Okay. So let me explain with the sample data. We have 6 monkeys. Name those monkeys as A, B, C, D, E, and F. Yes, we have 6 monkeys. Let's name them as A, B, C, D, E, and F. Look at the data. What does this data indicate? Highlighted data. This 3 indicates new position. New position of which monkey? The monkey A. Okay. So 3 means A is standing at 1. right? A is standing at 1. From 1, it will go to 3. Okay, A goes to third index. Can you understand this? From 1, it should go to 3. Similarly, look at the next data. Look at B. B is standing at second position. They are telling you from 2 you need to go to 6. Okay. From second index we'll go to sixth index. B moves to sixth index. Similarly, next data. So now you will be able to guess it. What does this mean? C, who is standing at third position, will go to the fifth index. C goes to the fifth index. Similarly, D, who is standing at fourth index. D is standing at fourth index. It should go to fourth index, meaning D will not move at all. D will stand here itself because anybody who's standing at fourth position should move to the fourth position, which means D will stand here itself, which means D moves to fourth index. This is the question they are telling you. Okay, now you leave this line, you will understand it. The value at monkeys of I indicates new position of the monkey who is standing at ith position. This value indicates new position of the monkey who is standing at ith position. This is array of I. Yes, this is array of I. Array of I indicates new position of the monkey who's standing at I. Is it clear? This is the question. Yes? Okay. So now they're asking you given n value. N is nothing but number of monkeys and the array monkeys. For monkeys we have an array. What does that array indicate? The new position of the monkeys. Yes, given the n value and the array value, find the time after which all monkeys are in the initial position for the first time. What do they mean by that? Let us consider an example. Consider same data. Monkeys are at position 3, 6, 5, 4, 1, 2. How many monkeys do we have here? We have 6 monkeys. The 6 monkeys are A, B, C, D, E and F. This is the initial position of the monkeys, which is at time 0 second. Okay. Initial position, which is at time 0 second. Monkeys are in the order A, B, C, D, E and F. Let us analyze what happens from this point. Okay. Now, what do we know? We know that anybody who's standing at first index will go to the third index. Who's standing at first index? A. A will go to third index. Clear? And person standing at second index will go to sixth index. So B who's standing at second position will go to sixth position. Similarly, anybody who's standing at third index will go to fifth index. Don't look at the new data, guys. This is the new arrangement. Look at the original arrangement. In the original arrangement, highlight that. In the original arrangement, who's standing at third index? C. So this C will go to fifth position. Yes, he's standing at third position. It will go to fifth position. Similarly, whoever is standing at fourth position will stay at fourth position itself. So D will be here. And whoever is standing at fifth position will move to first position. So E who is standing at fifth index will go to the first index, and a person standing at the monkey standing at sixth index will go to second index. So F. I hope I made it clear till this point. Okay, all that we do here is just calculate how the values are moving. Yes, so this is the position of the monkeys after 1 second. Why 1 second? Because the monkeys change their position every second, right? Each and every second the position changes. So after 1 second, this is the position of the monkeys. Now similarly, let us calculate until we get the original values. Yes, you have understood the concept, you can just calculate it on your own. If you haven't understood, please listen to it. I'll just explain what happens in each step. Okay, so from the previous arrangement only, new position is calculated. Yes, so based on first second arrangement, we will calculate for 2 seconds. Okay, based on the position at first second, we will calculate the position for 2 seconds. Yes, so look at this data, the blue colored data. This is our active cell. Okay, so we have completed first step. Now look at the second step, highlighted cell alone. So what did we say? Person standing, sorry, the monkey standing at first position will go to the third position. So E comes here. 2 will go to 6. So F will go to 6. Okay. 3 goes to 5. A who's standing at 3 will go to 5. 4 stays at 4. So D will be here. 5 goes to 1. Who's there at 5? C. C will go to 1. And 6 goes to 2. So B will go to 2. Okay. Look at this. Do we have the original arrangement now? Original arrangement is A, B, C, D, E, F. B, D and F have come back to their original position. But C, E and A are still not in their original positions. So go to the third second also. Okay. Now we are going to work for third second. For third second, 2 seconds will be the active cell. Can you understand? I've completed first second. So now I'll move to 2 seconds. What happens here? In this place, same calculation guys. Who is present at 1 will go to 3. So C goes to 3. 2 goes to 6. So 2 we have B. He will go to 6. 3 we have 5. So E will go to 5. Okay. Next step. 4 stays at 4. D will stay here. 5 goes to 1. So A, which is at 5, will go to 1. And 6 will go to 2. So 6 will go to 2. F is at 6, it will go to 2. Now if you look at it, A, C, D, E are at the right position, but F and B are not at the right position. Okay, so don't just interchange F and B. All the monkeys will change their position every second. Okay, all monkeys will change their position. So when I work for 4 seconds, work it for all the monkeys, not just anyone. Okay, so when we work it for 4 seconds, we can improve our speed from now on. I think you'll understand the logic by this time. So standing at 1 will go to 3. Okay, standing at 2 will go to 6. F goes to 6. Person standing at 3 will go to 5. This is the data you need to focus, guys. Focus on this data. Okay, standing at 3 will go to 5. So C goes to 5. 4 stays there. 5 goes to 1. So E goes to 1. And 6 goes to 2. So B goes to 2. Okay. Again the same issue. So this shall be our active cell. And this will be your previous position. Okay. So 4 seconds is our current position. Based on this data, we'll calculate for 5 seconds. Okay. So when I calculate for 5 seconds, same calculation, 1 goes to 3. So 1 goes to 3. 2 goes to 6. So 2 will go to 6. 3 goes to 5. So this A goes to 5. 4 stays at 4. No changes. 5 goes to 1. Who's at 5? C. He will go to 1. Okay. And 6 goes to 2. So this EF will come here. Do we have the original arrangement A, B, C, D, E, F? No, we still don't have the original arrangement. Okay. So again continue. This will be our active cell. Now if you look at it, 1 goes to 3, C will go to 3. 2 goes to 6, F will go to 6. 3 goes to 5, E goes to 5. 4 stays there. 5 goes to 1, so A will come here. 6 goes to 2, B will come here. This will be your new arrangement. Now compare the two values. Your current arrangement and original arrangement are same. Right? Current arrangement and original arrangement are same. Which means I have obtained the original positions itself. After how many seconds? After 6 seconds. That is your answer. Okay. Keep changing all the monkeys. At which point will you come back to the original position? So after 6 seconds, I'll come back to the original position. So output is going to be 6. That's it. Clear? This is our problem statement. So if they keep modifying like this data will change, guys. Each time you will have different arrangement. So the data will change, but if whatever data I give you, you need to calculate after how many seconds will we get back the original arrangement. Yes. So when you start coding this, as I always say, for any problem, there are two approaches. One is your naive solution, which means you will not process it, you will not think of any logic. Whatever we have discussed here, we'll implement the same thing. That is our naive solution. Yes. And the next one is we'll think through the process, we'll think of all possible ways, then we'll give a optimized solution. Right? This is our usual logic. This is how we'll proceed in all the sessions. And the reason I'm always telling you the naive solution is you need to understand what exactly happens in the problem. Okay. If I directly move to the optimized solution, you don't really understand it. You should know why we do the things we do. Okay. If I'm going to do something, if I tell you don't do this, you should know the reason why that should be avoided. Yes, don't just accept it blindly. For every single word that I say, there should be a reason. If there is not a reason, then you can question me why this happens. Clear? Yes, that is why always I'm saying this is your naive approach. If you need a solution, anybody can give me the solution. Any person can give me the solution by just modifying this. That will be your naive solution. Okay, but it takes a lot of knowledge and understanding to give a optimized solution. Okay, so first let us finish off the naive solution. After completing it, we'll move to the optimized solution. Okay, so for now I'll just initialize the array, guys. At the end we'll use those scanf and everything. First, to understand the concept, I'm going to initialize the array. Okay, 3 6 5 4 1 2. And the number of monkeys is 6 monkeys. If you remember something, they told you it is a one indexed array. Generally array index starts from 0, but this time array index should start from 1. Why should it start from 1? Because only then it is going to be easy for us. Here they have told you position 1, here they have told you position 2, here they have told position 3. Like that it goes on. Yes, so the best choice will be ignore the zeroth index. Whenever you create an array, you will have a zeroth index. I'm not denying it. Whenever we create an array, we will have a zeroth index, but right now, ignore this zeroth index. Let it have some garbage value itself. Don't disturb it at all. Okay? Don't do anything to this value. Ignore zeroth index, but that still exists in the memory. So what will be the size of this array? Even if you store 6 elements, I need it till 6th index. I'm storing 6 element. I need it till 6th index. So number of array size. Array size should be 7. Clear? Since I need it till the 6th index, I'll take the array size as 7. Only when I take the array size as 7, I'll get the indexes as 0 to 6. In that 0 to 6, let's ignore the 0th index and start working from the first index. Okay, for my convenience only, if you are going to have it as index minus 1 and deal it with 0th index itself, it is up to you. You can take it as 0 to 5 if you want to, but ensure you handle that case properly. Okay, so here the array size is going to be 7. And first element is the random value. I don't need that value, so I just have it as 0. I can't give a garbage value, right? So I just have it as 0. This is your original array. Is it clear? Yes? Okay. So now we need the position of the monkeys. Based on the monkey's position only, we'll calculate. Yes? So I'm taking it as characters, guys, because when I explained the concept to you, I had the monkeys as A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So to implement that purpose, I'm having it as character array. This character array has 6 monkeys A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, and the first 0th index should be ignored. So 0th index is 0, and from 1 to 6 we have A, B, C, D, E, F. This is the original position of the monkeys. Yes, we are going to calculate new position of the monkeys. Clear? So from this original position, we need to calculate new position. Yes. So what should be the size of new position? I have 6 monkeys, 1 garbage value and 1 null character at the end. Yes. So 6 plus 1 plus a null character at the end will give you 8 new positions. Clear? So size of new position is going to be 8. Now, how can I calculate the new position? How will I calculate new position? New position is calculated based on the original position. Yes. Okay. Let us consider the first monkey. Who's the first monkey? A. So original position of 1. Where should this person move? A should move to third index. How do I say that? A, who is at first index, should go to third index. How do I say that? Because array of 1. A is at 1. Go to array of 1. Array of 1 is 3. So new position of array of 1. Clear? So new position of array of 1. What do I mean? Whoever is standing at first position will go to array of 1. What is array of 1? 3. So person standing at first position will go to third position. Similarly, if I have 2 here, I should have array of 2. If I have 3 here, I should have array of 3. Like that it goes on, right? So create a loop for this. Let me have a variable index. Index starts from 1. Starting with first index, guys. Ignore the 0th index. Index less than or equal to n. Index plus plus. So for each index, calculate the new position. Clear? For each original position value, calculate the new position. Yes. So after doing this, what will be your output? Let me just print and show you the output. Index plus plus printf. I'm going to show you the position of monkeys. New position of the monkeys. Okay. Originally I had it as A, B, C, D, E, F. Now I'm going to have it as E, F, A, D, C, B. Is that right? E, F, A, D, C, B. We have it as a right order. So now I have the output for position after 1 second. Clear? So how do we have the data? This data is stored in ARR. This is nothing but original position. This is nothing but new position. Yes. So original position and new position. Now I need to calculate the next new position. When time is 2, what will be the new position? We have to calculate this. Yes, for this one, which is going to be your base? This array is going to be your base. New position 1 will be your base. Clear? Based on this new position array, we are going to calculate the next set of new positions. New position 2. Clear? Based on new position 1, we are going to calculate new position 2. How shall I calculate new position 2? Same concept. Same concept. But this time we have new position 1 and 2. Okay. Because I can't disturb the original array. So have new position 1 and new position 2. Yes. So new position 1 will be calculated based on original array. New position 2 will be calculated based on new position 1. Is it clear? New position 1. First new position. This is calculated based on original. Second one is calculated based on first array. And at each time, what should you check? Each time we should check whether the current position becomes the same as the original position. That is our important point here. After modification, you should know whether the position is same as original. If it is same as original, stop the operation. Otherwise, continue with the operation. So after changing it, I'm going to check whether from 1 till n, check whether new position 1 has values same as original position. Okay. If it is same, we'll go to the next index. Clear? For all the indexes, let us check whether new position is same as original position. If it is same, we'll keep continuing until when? Until we reach the last index. Yes, if I go beyond the last index, I will stop. So think about it. If the values are same, if values are same, I would have compared all the indexes, right? Till the last index, I would have compared all the indexes and I will try to go beyond last index. I will try to reach the 7th index. But if it fails, for example, when I compare this A and E, when I compare A and E, they are not equal. If they are not equal, you will stop here, right? If they are not equal, we will stop and continue calculating the new position. But if they are equal, I will stop at 7th index. So if I stop at 7th index, I know that all values were equal. If all values were equal, stop the process. Clear? So first calculate the first arrangement, check whether they are equal. Now calculate the second arrangement and check whether they are equal. For second arrangement also, you should check whether they are equal. So new position 2. Okay. So next time I'm checking whether new position 2 is same as original position. If it is same, we will break. This is the concept. Can you understand this? Get an arrangement, see whether they are equal. Based on that arrangement, form a new arrangement, see whether they are equal. This process will go on. Okay, for different time periods. You need to calculate at every second, right? So, start from first second and keep continuing. Start from first second and keep continuing. So, what should you do here? If it is first second, you will do this operation. Yes, for first second, one arrangement is obtained. For the next second, clear? This is for the first second, calculate the arrangement. For the next second, calculate the new arrangement. Yes, so this is the base we have done. But if you notice, there is one minute fault here. every time new position 1 is calculated based on original position. See, first time it can be calculated based on original position, but second time it should be calculated based on position 2. I'm having two arrays because at any point of time I will need two data. Which two data? Current arrangement and previous arrangement. Okay, so one time position 1 is current, position 2 is previous. Next time position 2 is current, position 1 is previous. That is how I'm going to modify it. Yes, but for the first time alone, new position 1 is calculated based on original array. For all the other times, new position 1 is calculated based on new position 2. Okay, so generally what I can do is, instead of having original position here, all the time we'll calculate based on new position 2. That's what I said, right? New position 1 is going to be calculated based on new position 2. That is our logic. So, but for the first time alone, it should be calculated based on the original position, right? So, what we'll do is, we'll initialize new position. Char new position is equal to 0, A, B, C, D, E, F. Can you understand? Because for the further times, position 2 will change, right? Based on this position 2 only, you are going to calculate. First time alone, I need the original position. So, instead of creating another loop, I will use new position 2 here, and that is also initialized with the original position. Yes. So, this will go on continuously. When will you stop? When all values become equal. So, once you stop, print the time. At which time did all values become equal? Print that time alone, we will get the answer. Okay, I'm going to execute this. Take a look at the output now. Sorry, it is T, not time, T. Yes, we get the output as 6 seconds, which means after 6 seconds, we will get back the original arrangement. That is what they have said in the question, right? Now, as you can see, if I use this method, this is going to take too much time, way too much time. Okay. For example, if I have 50 monkeys also, memory is wasted. First of all, I'm using 3 character arrays and 1 integer array. My memory is wasted and execution time will also be very lengthy. Yes. So to overcome this, we are going to proceed with the optimized solution. Yes. Next step, let's learn about optimized solution. Okay. Okay. So here the question is, you need to find the time after which all monkeys are in initial position. Yes. You just need the time. You don't need what is their position at time 1, what is their position at time 2. We don't need it. You just need the final time value alone. To know the final time value, you should be familiar with the concept of LCM. Yes, you would have learned this in your aptitude also. Just a quick revision on where we will need LCM. Okay. For example, consider a question like this. There are a set of 4 clocks. First clock strikes at 2 minutes. Second clock strikes at 6 minutes. The third clock strikes at 5 minutes. Fourth clock strikes at 3 minutes. Okay. So I have 4 clocks here. They will strike every 2 minutes. I mean, that is every 2 minutes, every 6 minutes, every 5 minutes, and every 3 minutes. Okay. So, first they all start ringing at 12 o'clock. The first time all clock strikes is at 12 o'clock. Yes, they will ring together at 12 o'clock. Then, after how many minutes will they all strike together? Yes, because they are not striking every 1 hour. Usually, all the clocks will strike every 1 hour. But in this scenario, First clock strikes at 2 minutes, second clock strikes every 6 minutes. Like that we have our data. Okay, let me just tabulate our data. There are two sets of data given for us. What is that? One is clock, the other is the strike time. Clock and strike time. Consider clock 1. Clock 1 strikes every 2 minutes. Clock 1 strikes every 2 minutes. What about clock 2? Clock 2 strikes every 6 minutes. Okay. Clock 3. Clock 3 strikes every 5 minutes. Okay. Clock 4 strikes every 3 minutes. Yes, okay. They've all started ringing simultaneously at 0th second. They've all they all started striking at 0th second. Look at clock 1. Clock 1 alone. It strikes every 2 minutes. So after 0 minutes, it will strike at 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, it will wait for another 2 minutes. Then it will strike at 4 minutes. Then it will wait for 2 minutes, strikes at 6. It will wait for 2 minutes, strikes at 8. Yes, like that it goes on. And what will be the following values? You may have 28, 30, and 32. Like that it goes on. Can you understand this? Every 2 minutes means there are multiple values possible here. 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, and it goes on as 30, 32. There is an infinite set of values. I've just written the values that I will need here. Okay, now consider second clock. What do they say about second clock? It strikes every 6 minutes. So, first strike will be at 0th minute, second strike will be at 6th minute, right? First it will strike at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock means 0 minutes. Then it will strike at 6 minutes. After 6 minutes, it will strike at 12 minutes. After that, it will wait for another 6 minutes. Then 18, wait for 6 minutes. 24, wait for 6 minutes. 30, then 36, and the value goes on. Can you understand this? Yes? Okay. What about clock 3? Clock 3 strikes every 5 minutes. So, once in every 5 minutes it will strike. So, first they start striking at 0th minute. So, focus on clock 3. Focus on clock 3. After 0 minutes, it will strike at 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, 15. Then wait for 5 minutes, 20. Wait for 5 minutes, 25. Wait for 5 minutes, 30, 35, and the value goes on. Yes. So what do you observe so far? All these are nothing but multiples. 6 ones are, 6 twos are, 6 threes are, 6 fours are. And 5 is nothing but multiples of 5. Similarly, consider every 3 minutes also. Okay. So here the values will be 3, 6, 9, 12, and it goes on till what will be the set of values I'll need 27, 30, and it goes on. So all these are multiples. Now they are telling you after how many minutes will the four clocks strike together. They should strike together. Important point. Okay. So at 2 minutes only the first clock will strike. At 6 minutes the two of them will strike. Sorry, three of them. At 6 minutes, 3 clocks will strike together, but third clock is missing. Okay. At 15 minutes, two of them will strike together, but first two clocks are missing. Yes. Find the value where all four of them will strike together. What is that value? This 30. Right? At 30 minutes, all the four clocks will strike together. This 30 is nothing but a common multiple. Yes, it is a multiple which is common for all the four numbers, and this is nothing but the least common multiple because there are many common multiples. 30 is common, 60 is common, 90 is common, Like that we have many common multiples, but this 30 is the least common multiple. Can you understand this? Yes. So just find out common multiples of them. Okay. So now let us come back to our problem. Okay. So look at the data given to you. The persons are A, B, C, sorry, A, B, C, D, E and F. Yes. Focus only on A. Focus on A. Yes. At t equal to 0, A is at first index. Okay. At t equal to 1, at 1 second, A will go to which index? Third index. At 1 second, A will go to third index. Okay. After 2 seconds, now it is at third index. From the third index, it will go to fifth index, right? A goes to fifth index. After 3 seconds, from the fifth index, from this index, A will go back to the first index, right? So look at it. Every 3 seconds, A comes back to original position. Am I right? Yes. After 3 seconds, it will come back to 1. So after 6th second, it will come back to 1. Can you understand this? It will go to a different position, but after 3 seconds, it will come back to its original position. Okay. So I'm going to note down the data related to monkeys. Similar to the time problem, we are going to work on the monkeys also. This is the data we have. Now, let's note down the monkey and the original position. Yes, when will it return back to the original position? For example, when I consider A will come back to its original position after 3 seconds. Yes, A comes back to the original position every 3 steps. Yes, I'm noting down the data. Next, B. What about B? Now let's focus on B. Okay. At t equal to 0, B is at, okay, same arrangement. Initially, B is at second index. B is at second index. After 1 second, from second index, it will go to sixth index, right? Okay. After 2 seconds, it is now standing at sixth index. From the sixth index, it goes back to second index. So what do you observe? B comes back to the original position every 2 seconds. Okay, once in every 2 seconds. For first second, it will go to 6. Second time, it will come back here. Third second, it will go to 6. Fourth time, it will come back here. So, the data for B is B comes back to the original position every 2 steps. Similarly, let us calculate for all of them. Okay. So, now if you focus on C, what happens to C? At 0th second, C will be here, right? Okay. At 0th second, C is at 3. At first second, it will go to 5. At 2 seconds, from 5 it will go to 1. At 3 seconds, it will come back to 3. From 1, it will come back to 3. So C requires 3 steps to come back to the original position. Note it down. For C, every 3 steps, it will come back to the original position. Okay. Next step. We are going to focus on D. Same procedure only, guys. If you are familiar with it, you can write it directly. So now you focus on D. And initially, it is at 4. First second, it is at 4. Second, it is at 4. So, for every one step, even if it takes only one step, it will come back to its original position. Clear? Even for one step, it will come back to its original position. Let's note it down. D requires one step. What about next one? E. Okay. So next we are going to focus on E and F. When I focus on E, at 0 seconds it is at 1. Initially it is at 1. Then from 1, sorry, it is at 5. Sorry. It is at 5. From 5 it will go to 1. At 2 seconds, from 1 it will go to 3. At 3 seconds, from 3 it will go to 5. So comes back to the original position every 3 steps. Okay. Similarly, focus on F. Okay. Initially, F is at 6th position. After 1 second, from 6 it should go to 2. After 2 seconds, from 2 it goes back to 6. So every 2 steps. That's it. We have the data for all the 6 monkeys. Now let's tabulate the data. E returns every 3 steps. F returns every 2 steps. This is the data we have. Now, when will they all return to their original position? Just like the previous problem, find the LCM for all the values. If you write down the multiples also, it will be the same thing. Just find out the LCM for all these values. What is the LCM? LCM is 6. Can you understand this? Yes. We are going to find the LCM. That will be the efficient technique. Yes. Okay. So in the coding part, consider the same array. Okay. Let us consider our array. Array should be of size 7 as we declared already. Array will be of size 7. Ignore the 0th index. 3, 6, 5, 4, 1, 2. This is our array. How many monkeys? 6 monkeys. Okay, let us have it till here. Okay, what should you do now? We are going to count. This is nothing but count. How many steps does it require to come back to the original position? After how many steps it will come back to the original position? So I'm just counting the values. So to count the values, have an array, because we'll count for all the monkeys. So have an array, initialize all count as 0. You know that, right? Now let me consider monkey 1. Okay, what is the original position for monkey 1? Monkey A. Monkey A is at first position, right? Let us work for one monkey, guys, then we'll move to everyone. So let us consider monkey A. Yes, let me consider the monkey A. Initially, monkey A is at first position. So this is the original position. Okay. So original position is 1. Okay. From this 1, what is its current position? See, originally it is standing at 1 and currently means at 0 seconds. I haven't started the process, guys. Originally it is standing at 1. It should stand at 1 originally. And right now as in 0 seconds also, it is standing at A only. Can you understand this? Yes. Original position, current position, both are first index. Initial setup. Yes. Initially, original position is at first index. And right now means at 0th time, it is standing at first index. Okay. So, original position as well as current position, both are 1. Okay. Now, how can I calculate the next current position? Current position will be updated. Original position will be 1 itself, but its current location will change as first index, third index, fifth index, and it goes on, right? How will I know the next position? How can I move from 1, 3, 5? From 1, how will I move to 3? Array of 1. From 3, how to move to 5? Array of 3. So, if you are standing at some index, you should move as array of index, right? If you are standing at 3, go to array of 3. If you are standing at 5, go to array of 5. So, if you are standing at current position, go to array of current position. Can you understand this? If you are standing at some position, go to array of current position. So if you move from one place to next place, that is one step, right? So count what? Count A's value. Yes, if this is your, let me take down this data alone so that we don't get confused. Okay. So now I have a count array of same size. Count array is also of size 1 to 7. Okay, initially count array is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So when I go from 0 to 1, when I go from first index to third index, this is one step, right? Moving from first index to third index is one step. For which one? For A. So you should increase the count of A. How will I know count of A? Count is present at first index, which means if I should increase A's count, I should access its original position. Can you understand this? Its original position is 1. So if you are going to store the data for A, store it at 1. So at 1, increase the count. When it takes the second step, from 3 to 5, it will take the second step. At 1, increase the count. When it goes from 5 to 1, at 1, increase the count. I hope it's clear. Okay. So this is nothing but its current position, and this side indicates the original positions. Originally, I have A, B, C, D, E, F at indexes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I'm going to count for A, modify it at index 1. Where should we modify it? At original position. Okay, current position may change, but original position will be 1 only. Okay, so what should you check now? You should check whether you have reached your original position itself. Yes, check whether current position is same as the original position, right? Check whether I have reached the original position. If I have reached the original position, then I have my count value. I'm not calculating the result yet. I have the count value. What is the count value? Count value is 3. When you get this 3, you can break and continue for next monkey. Okay. Repeat the same process for all the monkeys. Yes. So until you reach the original position, this process is going to be continued. Clear? Do this process, do this process until I execute break statement. Okay, do this process until I execute break statement. So while of 1, or you can have it as just while also. I'm just using do while. Even if you use while or for, it is not going to make much of a difference. Okay, so from your current position, calculate new position, count the step, check whether you have reached the original point. If you have reached the original point, break. So this process is done for monkey 1. Now you have to repeat this process for all the monkeys. Okay. So this process is going to be iterated, creating an iteration for all the monkeys. Okay. So for index starting from 1, index less than or equal to 6, index plus plus. This index is nothing but referring to the monkeys. Okay. So original position for the first monkey, original position is 1. For the second monkey, original position is 2. So original position is index. Current position is also index. That's it. We have just calculated how many steps are required to come back to the original position. Okay. I'm going to print it now for your convenience. Sorry, starting from first index till sixth index plus plus print the count value. What does count indicate? After how many steps will it come back to the original position? Okay. So yes, take a look at the output. Isn't it same as what we have here? 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. Look at the output. 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. So I know after how many steps I can get the original position. Okay. Now we need to calculate. What should we calculate? We should calculate LCM of all these values. That is what we are going to do. We'll calculate LCM of all these values. Listen, when I try to calculate LCM, I'll have a function named as LCM and provide two inputs. Okay, we'll come back to the function, guys. For now, just assume you have a function named as LCM having two inputs. Okay, now if you should find LCM, you can't find it for all the values at a time. Okay, how we'll do it is find the LCM for 3 and 2. LCM for 3 and 2 is 6. With this, take the next value, find the LCM. With the result, take the next value, find the LCM. With this result, take the next value, find the LCM. Can you understand? At any point, I can work only with two numbers. So calculate LCM of first two numbers, take the result, work with next number. So what you can do is, for the first number, calculate LCM with 1. Okay, for 1 and 3, LCM will be 3 only. With that result, take it for the next number. Clear? Initial LCM value is 1. Get the first number, find the LCM. To that result, take the next number, find the LCM. Okay. So have a variable named as LCM value. Initially LCM value is 1. So whenever you find a count value, update LCM. How did I tell you to update LCM? Calculate LCM for previous LCM value and the current count value. Okay, count of original position. Is it clear? Yes. Calculate LCM for previous result and the current count value. Yes. So one thing which is yet to be completed here is the LCM function. But before I move to the LCM function, there are some more optimizations I can do here. What is that optimization? See, the monkeys A, C and E follow the same path, right? A will go to C, from 1 it will go to 3, from 3 it will go to 5. Yes, A, C and E follow the same path. Similarly, B and F will follow the same path. So, count of A, count of C and count of E will be same. Because they are following the same path, count will be same for all three of them. They are just rotating between them, among them. Yes, they move only in a circle among them. Only these three will move in a circle. The next two are moving in a circle, which means the count will be same for all three of them. Shall we check that? For A, the count is 3. For C, the count is 3. For E, the count is 3. So you observe that count is same for all three of them. If count is same for all three of them, it is enough if you store the first count alone. Can you understand this? Even if I have two more threes, LCM is not going to change because of that. Yes, one three or two threes, or even if you have 10 threes, it doesn't matter. If I have a three, that will influence the LCM. If I don't have a three, it does not influence the LCM. Okay, so when you calculate LCM, don't calculate it for all the values. What I'll do is, when I know that C and E are on the same path, I will choose to ignore their counts. Okay, what I'll do is, since C and E are on the same path, ignore their count. How can I ignore their count? I'll just set their count value as -1. For C and E, I'll set the count value as -1. Okay, how will I know that C and E are on my way? Because starting from first index, I'll go to third index, which means I'm going to C's place. And from third index, I'll go to fifth index, which means I'm going to E's place. Okay, so all indexes until original index follow the same path. Am I right? All indexes till I come back to first index follow the same path. What are the intermediate indexes? Third index and fifth index. So when I go to third index, I'll set the value as -1. When I reach fifth index, I'll set the value as -1. Okay, but don't set the value of first index as -1 because that is the original index. So if it is the original index, don't disturb it. If it is not the original index, set the count as -1. Okay, so this is the part where I know it is the original index. Yes, if it is not original index, else case. If it is not original index, set its count value. Set the current positions count as -1. Is it clear? So I need not check for C and E. If the count is -1, I don't need to consider that at all. Why? Because that is already processed. If I process for A, that is sufficient. You need not check for C or E. Clear? Just work for A. That will do. Don't check for C and E. So when you start your procedure, check whether the original position as in when I come to C, check whether C's count value is -1. If C's count value is -1, don't check for it because instead of C, you would have already processed A. So don't check for C. Continue with the next number. I hope I made it clear. Okay, so I'm just optimizing the code. What did I do? Since they all follow the same path, I'll ignore their count values, set it as -1. So if the value is -1, don't check their count values, directly proceed. That is what I'm telling you. Now you take a look at the count values. I'll have only the unique values 3, 2 and 1. These are repeating values. C and E follow A. This one follows B. If it is a repeating value, you need not check for that value. Just take the unique values. So it is enough if I find the LCM of 3, 2 and 1. Okay. Okay. So now, how will I find the LCM? Look at the algorithm for finding LCM. To find LCM, you need to know how to find GCD. I've already discussed the method of finding GCD. Consider, okay, from GCD, the property is A into B is equal to LCM of the two values into GCD of two values. When I give you two numbers, their product is same as product of LCM and GCD. So how can I calculate LCM? LCM can be calculated as A into B divided by GCD. Okay. LCM can be calculated as A into B divided by GCD of two values. Yes. So from LCM function, I should go into GCD function. GCD of two numbers A and B. How can I calculate GCD? We have already discussed this. Use Euclid algorithm. Consider two numbers 32 and 7. Perform long division. Okay. 32 divided by 7. When 32 is divided by 7, the quotient will be 4 and we will subtract 28. Remainder will be 4. The remainder is not equal to 0. If the remainder is not equal to 0, continue the division. Okay. Bring this 7 here and divide them. Can you understand? If the remainder is not 0, continue with the division. So 4 and 7. 4 ones are 4. Remainder is 3. Since the remainder is not 0, bring this 4. Bring this 4. Divide them. 3 ones are 3. Remainder is 1. Still the remainder is not 0. So bring this 3. Divide the values. Your remainder will be 0. When your remainder becomes 0, whichever is the divisor. When your remainder becomes 0, whichever value is the divisor, that is your GCD. Can you understand? When the remainder is 0, whichever value is divisor, that will be the GCD. So what do you observe here? When I give you two numbers, divide those two numbers and get the remainder. I'm not even looking at the quotient value. I need only the remainder value. So A modulus B. We'll do that. Get the remainder equal to A modulus B. We need to check whether remainder is 0. If your remainder is 0, whichever is the divisor, that is the GCD. So return B because the divisor is your GCD. On the other hand, if your remainder is not 0, we will continue the division process. Yes. So take the division process within a loop. Okay. If your remainder is not 0, we need to continue the division process. How should I continue it? See, initially this is A, this is B and 4 is the remainder. Right. Next time the dividend is A. Here what becomes dividend? A becomes dividend, which means B value is given to A. Can you see that? B value is given to A and remainder becomes the divisor B. Right? Last time 7 was the divisor. This time 4 is the divisor. So A receives B value and B receives remainder value. Okay. A receives B value and B receives remainder value. That's it. Just change A and B values. Then you repeat the process. Since I should repeat the process, create a loop. Clear? So change A and B values. Repeat the process. When your remainder becomes 0, you will get the GCD. Okay. So this is our final program. One minute optimization I can do here is, okay, I'm going to find num1 and num2's GCD. Right. See, if I tell you LCM of 12, 6. What is LCM of 12, 6? 12. Why? Because 12 is divisible by 6. So 12 is the LCM. You can check that also. If num1 modulus num2 is 0, then num1 is your LCM. Right? Since 12 and 6 are divisible, 12 is the LCM. Similarly, if num2 modulus num1, if the order is changed, then num2 is your LCM. If this is not true, you can use the formula and calculate the value. Yes. So I hope I made it clear. Finally, you need the time. Which variable has the time? LCM has the time. Percentage D, comma, LCM value. LCM has the time, so print the LCM. We'll check this. Okay, reminder. REM. Yes, you get the output as 6 seconds by direct calculation. Okay. So now instead of just having n initialized, get it from the user. Array of 1000, count of 1000, get the values from the user. First, get the number of elements. After getting the number of elements, scan the elements from the first index. Scanf %d address of array of index. Okay, don't scan it from 0th index, scan from first index. So less than or equal to n. Okay, anywhere else? That's it. So this will be your code. Similarly, here also, don't initialize the values, use scanf. But since we are not going to implement this program at all, it is not important to change it. Okay, so that's it guys, we have completed. If you have any doubts, please join us in the doubt clearing session. Okay, thank you.